Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. It's been a little over a week since Black Panther Wakanda Forever has been released, and sadly, the movie has divided a number of fans. Some fans believe that Wakanda Forever is the best comic book movie ever, while other fans believe that the movie's trash, plain and simple. When I posted my review for the movie, I saw both sides of the coin, but I also asked myself, if I were writing the story for Wakanda Forever, what changes would I make, and how would I improve on what was already established in the Wakanda universe? Well, this video will share my pitch for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and I'm sure that the changes I pitch will cause some folks to disagree with the direction that I choose to make the movie. Which is cool, because that's what the Unpopular Opinion series is all about. So to all the folks out there, sit back, buckle up, and prepare to agree or disagree with my opinion. Now, in making my Black Panther sequel, while I truly admire what Chadwick Boseman has brought to the Black Panther character, as well as his impact on the people around the world, I would definitely not kill off the T'Challa character, because there was so much story left to tell with T'Challa, which would align with the comics. But the million-dollar question is, who would be the best actor to recast T'Challa? I think that the important elements to consider when doing this is to recast an actor that has the look, that has the acting chops, but someone who isn't too famous. And that's where I settled in on Trevante Rhodes. And I know this casting choice alone would cause some people to disagree with the opinion. But in my Black Panther sequel, it would begin with Black Panther infiltrating a lab with multiple levels of security. When Black Panther successfully uses his stealth and technology to bypass the security, he enters a room, and he's detected by none other than Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four. The rest of the Fantastic Four are there, and they've never met Black Panther to this point in the story. So they attack T'Challa first, but T'Challa demonstrates his ability to adapt to their attacks because he had a chance to study their powers before going on the mission. The encounter ultimately ends in a draw, with T'Challa removing his mask and introducing himself to the group. He tells the Fantastic Four that he needs their help with something. T'Challa shows Reed Richards a video of a Wakandan outpost near Khyber Island being attacked by a mysterious aircraft that has the ability to fly at high speeds and dive into the ocean. The video then abruptly ends as T'Challa explains that he has never seen this type of aircraft before, but he knows that Reed Richards could give him some insight on what the aircraft is with the aid of his resources. Reed is able to use his technology to track the aircraft's last known location, which is in the middle of the ocean. T'Challa leaves by informing the Fantastic Four that he will use this information to track down an unknown dangerous foe, to which Johnny replies that they have a dangerous foe of their own that they're trying to deal with. T'Challa then travels to the Oceanic Coordinates, which is an abandoned oil rig, with several armed guards with advanced alien weapons. T'Challa drops from his aircraft and makes quick work of the guards, interrogating one of them about the attack on the Wakandan outpost. When the guard fails to give T'Challa any useful information, T'Challa tells the guard to let whoever is responsible for the attack on his people know that a debt is still owed and T'Challa will come to collect. The Black Panther leaves without any further incident, and the interrogated guard goes down in the ocean to Atlantis to tell Namor what happened. The news angers Namor, as we learn that it was him that attacked the Wakandan outpost. But Namor is also fearful, because T'Challa was able to find Atlantis without being detected. And in Namor's mind, if T'Challa can sneak up on them, then he as well as his allies pose a threat to the Atlantean way of life. Namor tasks his spies to gather intelligence on T'Challa and Wakanda, as Namor puts his army on standby. We then see T'Challa coming back to Wakanda, where he is greeted by Nakia, Shuri, and his mother. We also briefly learn about what Wakanda has been up to since the events of Avengers Endgame. Wakanda has allowed embassies from other countries to come into its borders, and Wakanda has also beefed up its defenses against worldly threats. The scientists in Wakanda have been able to recreate the heart-shaped herb, and it has been able to grow in the garden for quite some time. M'Baku is now in a relationship with Shuri, and W'Kabi has finally been released from prison, where he and his loyalists have been able to rejoin the border tribe, but are forbidden from joining any positions of leadership. T'Challa then goes to meet with the Leadership Council to discuss the attack on the outpost and its response to it. The Leadership Council is in disbelief that an advanced race of people may be living underwater, but T'Challa assures them that it's true. The leadership agrees that Wakanda needs to prepare a navy for a possible aquatic warfare. T'Challa asks for an underwater vessel to be built, as well as an aquatic suit that can give him an advantage while moving underwater. T'Challa tasks Shuri with learning more about the foreign people that attacked their outpost, as well as setting up an aerial surveillance near Atlantis so they can track the aircraft. When the meeting is over, we are introduced to Storm, who has been in Wakanda for the past few months. We learn that Storm left Wakanda as a teenager to go to a school for the gifted, hint hint X-Men, and since then, she's been using her gifts to help others. But Storm has come back to visit her family members. We see T'Challa meeting up with Storm, and they reminisce about their time as teenagers, and we get some character development with that. Back in Atlantis, we see Namor's trusted advisor bringing back information on Wakanda and urging Namor to eliminate the Wakandan threat before Wakanda has a chance to eliminate them. The advisor shows Namor evidence that Wakanda has been spying on Atlantis from the air. Namor then decides to attack Wakanda himself while using the element of surprise as a means of warning Wakanda to leave Atlantis alone. When Namor leaves Atlantis, he destroys the Wakanda spy drones and races to Wakanda. Back in Wakanda, we see T'Challa taking Shuri under his wing. T'Challa reflects on how Shuri ruled Wakanda in his absence after the events of Avengers Infinity Wars, and he is shown teaching her how to fight hand-to-hand combat. We see that Shuri is extremely proficient in martial arts, but T'Challa always gets the better of her due to his enhanced strength and speed. After their training, T'Challa shares that he has torn between protecting Wakanda, a place that has been relatively safe for the past 5 years, versus protecting the world against much bigger threats. T'Challa also realizes that while he was gone, the people looked up to Shuri as their protector. Shuri reminds T'Challa that as king, the safety of Wakanda is his primary responsibility. But ever since T'Challa returned back from the blip, he has been seeing things differently. And this philosophical difference between the two of them becomes a theme for the movie. But Shuri takes T'Challa to the lab, and we get to see a pair of energy daggers that T'Challa gets to use. After the scene ends, we get a scene of Shuri and M'Baku. M'Baku tells Shuri that while he is loyal to his king, she should permanently rule Wakanda and appoint him as Wakanda's protector. M'Baku also tells Shuri that a lot of people would support this plan. Shuri assures M'Baku that T'Challa will devote more time to Wakanda once their enemies have been defeated. In the second act of the movie, we see Namor arriving on a ship in Wakanda. Namor's ship is shot down, and the River Tribe tries to detain him, but Namor kills all of them with ease. T'Challa is alerted by Namor's presence, and he suits up as Black Panther, while Shuri commands air support. Namor is attacking all who oppose him, and Shuri commands the Wakandan ships to attack Namor, but he easily destroys them. After the attack, we see Namor physically weakened, so he takes a dive into the water and then comes back to destroy more of Wakanda. T'Challa sees Namor and studies his patterns. T'Challa then confronts Namor and challenges him one-on-one. They fight hand-to-hand combat, but just as T'Challa is about to get the best of Namor, Namor retreats into the water to re-energize, and this time, he uses his powers to flood Wakanda. Nakia dies in the flood while trying to save the Queen, while W'Kabi dies trying to save several civilians. As the flood's about to sweep T'Challa away, Storm saves the day by using her powers to create a tornado, which absorbs the water and redirects it back into the river. Storm and Black Panther then team up to get Namor away from the water and force him to submit. As T'Challa is about to kill Namor, Storm encourages him to spare Namor and find out why Namor attacked. T'Challa begrudgingly agrees, and he interrogates Namor. Namor admits to attacking the Wakandan outpost because he received intelligence from his trusted advisor that Wakanda was responsible for dumping toxic chemicals in the ocean, which impacted their wildlife and food source near Atlantis. Namor stated that he initially went to the Wakandan outpost to talk to them and warn them, but when he was met with resistance, he then fired on the Wakandans. T'Challa proves to Namor that his people had nothing to do with the treachery, and this is when Namor realizes that he has been betrayed by his trusted advisor. Namor vows that if Wakanda spares his life, he will make those responsible pay for deceiving him. T'Challa agrees to let Namor go under two conditions. One, that he helps rebuild Wakanda, and two, Namor takes him to Atlantis so that he can deal with those responsible personally. Shuri is outraged by this deal because she knows the vast amount of people will not accept it, and they are looking for strong leadership from their ruler. T'Challa assures Shuri that he is looking at the bigger picture in all of this. Shuri then protests his decision by refusing to help T'Challa prepare for the trip to Atlantis. T'Challa then decides to go to the lab and prepare for the trip by himself. T'Challa makes tweaks to the energy daggers, and he works on other tech that'll be useful to him while in Atlantis. While Namor heals from his battle injuries, T'Challa builds his own underwater suit, which will allow him to breathe underwater. T'Challa and Namor then travel to Atlantis in the Wakandan submarine, and upon arrival, they are stopped by the defected members of Namor's army. Namor and T'Challa exit the submarine, and they are greeted by Namor's advisor, surrounded by an army of underwater robots. The advisor reveals that he has taken over as ruler of Atlantis, and Namor is out. We learn that Namor's advisor has been plotting to overthrow Namor for quite some time. The advisor admits that he has been working with a benefactor who agreed to help him become king of Atlantis if he convinced Namor to wage war against Wakanda. The advisor admits to framing Wakanda for attacking Atlantis, and its ultimate goal is to form a vast oceanic empire that attacks any human that travels by sea. So we have an underwater battle between the advisor with its underwater robots and Namor's army versus Namor and Black Panther. Namor tries his best to fend off the army while T'Challa dispatches the robots, and he takes out Namor's advisor. T'Challa holds the dead body of the advisor in front of Namor's army, and they stop fighting. Namor then makes a speech that exposes the treachery of his advisor, and the army vows to follow Namor again. The sequence ends with Namor agreeing to send resources to Wakanda to help rebuild. T'Challa supports this arrangement, but he tells Namor that if he ever kills another innocent person again, then they will have unfinished business. Namor and the Black Panther then have an understanding, but before T'Challa leaves, he hands Namor a device that Namor could use if he ever needs to get in touch with T'Challa in the future. Namor accepts the gift, but unbeknownst to Namor, T'Challa's Wakandan submarine had released many aquatic surveillance cameras in the shape of fish around Atlantis, and the communication device that T'Challa gave to Namor leaves a residue that allows T'Challa to track Namor's every movement, and this was done to show that T'Challa made the gamble to visit Atlantis so that he could keep tabs on what's happening down there. We then fast forward in the future, where we go to Wakanda, and the country is being rebuilt with Namor's resources. But a number of the citizens, as well as some of the members of the Leadership Council, are still angry with T'Challa for not killing Namor. T'Challa grieves the loss of the Wakandans during the battle, especially the loss of Nakia. Storm then tells T'Challa that she is part of a team that deals with threats like the one that Namor showed Wakanda. Storm reminds T'Challa that there are people more powerful than Namor in the world, and that the world could use his help and resources. T'Challa then reflects on what Wakanda has meant to him, but he realizes that he may very well be out of touch with what's best for Wakanda. And what T'Challa feels is best for Wakanda is a country that's united under one strong leader. The movie ends with Nakia getting a proper funeral scene, and with T'Challa deciding to go back to America with Storm. As T'Challa says his goodbyes, Shuri pleads with T'Challa to stay in Wakanda because the people need their king. T'Challa lets Shuri know that he has been grooming her for leadership since he has returned, and he will be yielding his throne to her. T'Challa explains that Wakanda will always be his home, but Shuri will be the ruler of Wakanda because the people need her leadership and guidance, while the world needs T'Challa. But T'Challa informs Shuri that should Wakanda ever need the Black Panther again, he will be there. The final scene is of T'Challa flying off into the sunset with Storm, and all the main characters watching T'Challa leave. We then get a montage of Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, as well as several of his past interviews, and we end the movie by seeing his trips to the children's hospitals where he honored the kids that wished to meet him. And I think this tribute is important because it paints the Black Panther and Chadwick Boseman as honorable men that wanted to uplift people from all walks of life. At the mid-credit scene, we see the aftermath of the attack on the Wakandan outpost, and a hooded figure appears to enter the facility. We get a flashback of the hooded figure meeting with Namor's advisor, and the hooded figure is revealed to be a Doom bot. We then go back to the present scene, where the Doom bot is bringing vibranium from the attacked outpost to Dr. Doom's lair. We see Dr. Doom, and he appears to be pleased. At the end credit scene, we see T'Challa visiting the X-Men mansion with Storm, where he meets Professor X, Wolverine, and Beast. This meeting is interrupted by a video message from Reed Richards. Reed Richards tells T'Challa that he has a serious matter to discuss with T'Challa, hinting that they will discuss the threat of Dr. Doom. and this is where the movie ends. And this is my pitch for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I know it's not perfect, but it does cover all the bases. It keeps T'Challa as a character in the movie. It establishes that Namor is in the universe and that he has a bigger part to play in the story to come. We get to see how much Wakanda has changed and how T'Challa has evolved from being a king of a powerful country to being a powerful hero that just wants to use his gifts to make a difference. We get to see Shuri get the character development that she deserves and puts her in a position of leadership. But we also get to see M'Baku and his desire to use Shuri to rise to the top. And that storyline could make for a good potential Black Panther 3, where Black Panther solicits the help of the X-Men or the New Avengers to save Wakanda from M'Baku, who has become man-ape after taking the heart-shaped herb. And then we get to see Chadwick Boseman honored. Now I know that this is a rather long video, but I would definitely like to hear what all of you thought about my pitch. Did you like my story for Wakanda Forever, or did you not like it? Feel free to leave your comments below in the comment section, and I'll respond to everybody. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.